Friday, sports fans. Thank you so much for checking out the Sportsline Podcast on CHCH and Parrot TV. I'm Bubba O'Neil. Well, as you know, Southern Ontario is on the rise in terms of sports, and we love to put the spotlight on those who hail or represent the Golden Horseshoe. Today, we're talking baseball. They are the Ironbacks, who represent the hardworking people of St. Catharines and the Niagara region. Canada's first ever franchise in the prestigious Perfect Game Collegiate Baseball League battle American-based teams in the United States and at their own field of dreams, George Taylor Field. Let's talk baseball with the owner, Mal Romanin. Thanks for coming into the Sportsline Podcast, partner.
Bubba, thanks for having me back again. It's my pleasure to be here.
Well, I'm telling you, I'm looking at the merch because you know the kids love the merch.
They do.
Even the adults love the merch. And you had some nice stuff last year, but this has gone to a whole new branding.
Well, we obviously, last year was our first year, and we put it together pretty quickly. So even in this off season, we developed a logo that represents what we wanted, our look to be, and we've added that with this N and I logo, and I think it's pretty sharp. So it seems to be going over well, and we're really proud of the look of the ball club.
I think what a lot of people were kind of hit in the face with last year, and like you said, this all came real quick.
Yes.
But I think people want to know who and what is the Perfect Game Collegiate Baseball League?
Right. So this is summer collegiate baseball. I kind of call it an all-star league for all-stars. So when these elite players go down and get scholarships in the States, so whether they're American or a lot of Canadian kids, they have to play, or they're encouraged to play in these summer elite leagues where the top players come together and it helps them better their skills and obviously get noticed by hopefully scouts and improve their stock for their potential major league professional careers. So these summer leagues have existed for a long time. The top one everybody might know is the Cape Cod League. That's where the elite of the elite go. And then there's several other ones where we're right underneath that. So our league is an excellent league. It's New York State. You can imagine the population base is very big, so there's a lot of elite players that play that just locally. So these leagues really feature top young college players on their way up to a professional career, they hope, obviously. So.
And it's a big league, too. Like, there's a lot of teams in your league. I mean, separated by 2 conferences, if I remember correctly.
There's 7. We added 1 in our conference, in our division this year in Olean. There's 9 in ours and 8 in the other side. So there's 17 teams across. And, yes, there's an East and a West. So we're in the West Division, and we're battling it out there every day.
Right. And it's funny that you did bring up, I wanted to talk about the players. And before we talk about actually the players that you have right now, but in terms of, like, getting the word out, and as you said, there are a lot of players that are thinking about the pros.
Yes.
And just like we see this in hockey, right? Because the season never ends. You play OHL or whatever the case is, and then you're playing summer hockey somewhere else. No different here for baseball and the top prospects. And I think I can say this quite freely now. The improvement of Canadian baseball has strengthened those numbers.
Well, and it's one of the reasons why I did this. Like I said, when my son went through this, this option wasn't there. He played in Missouri one year, New England another summer, and you had to. So they were permanently gone. They go to school and then they stay there. But now with how Canadian baseball has really progressed, there is a lot of players, and giving them the ability to come home in the summer, still play at that level, and yet their families get to see them. They get to, you kind of get to come home, see your friends a little bit. It's a real nice product for this area to have. It didn't exist before. It didn't exist. It's kind of that missing piece of the Canadian baseball landscape, and there's so many top-level players, and I can attest to that just by how we're competing this year, just 1 year into it from last year. We've got some real good talent to showcase, and we've been doing it in the first half.
What about yourself, though? I would presume someone in your position as the owner, I would use the word recruitment. It's 24 hours, 7 days a week, right?
It really is, and you're still doing it through the season. I mean, like all baseball levels, you never have enough pitching, right? So you're always trying to find pitchers to come in, but you spend the whole off season recruiting guys. And I mean, this particular league's such a great product. I mean, we had 11 guys drafted last year out of our league.
Wow.
Out of our league. None of our team yet. We're almost there. We're getting there. And there's over 40 guys in the big leagues that have come out of our league, and the league hasn't existed that long. So that just kind of gives you an idea of what the product is in the Niagara region, what we're putting on, and who's performing.
Just for reference, maybe name some of those 40 players that people might know.
Sure. Well, two of them people know very well. One's Ernie Clement.
Whoa!
And one's Louis Barland.
Whoa!
So you can see them there, and they came out of our league. But Nick Pavetta was in the league.
Nice.
So there's a lot of guys. Jordan Westberg with the Orioles is a real big piece there. He recently came out of the league. So a lot of high-end talent for sure.
For these talented players to take the next step, you need leadership. You need good coaching. You are blessed with a Hall of Famer at your manager position.
I am, and he's been with us both years. Richard Griffin, who's been in this game over 50 years. He's been with the Expos for a long time, and obviously with the Blue Jays, and he's worked in all facets of the game. You know, whether he was writing for the Toronto Star or in public relations for both clubs, and he's been a coach in baseball. I mean, since his kids were small, so it was such a natural fit. I knew him very well, and he's such a tremendous manager of people. And when you got a lot of young college people, excited ball players in your clubhouse, it's important for them to have somebody with that maturity and that knowledge. He gains instant respect, right? So
absolutely.
I couldn't be happier to have a guy like Rich on my side, that's for sure. He's been and to take us through last year, we struggled. We had, we just didn't have a chance to put together the roster we did this year. So you have to have somebody strong when you're not winning a lot of games early.
Right.
But we've slowly built it, and now we have a pretty darn good baseball team on our hands this year.
I'm glad you brought that up because it was the first season, and I think with the exception of maybe, as we were kind of talking about off camera, the Vegas Golden Knights, and the league kind of made a lot of things happen in their favor.
I wish I had that.
Like there were a lot of things that are in their favor. A first-year franchise, there's a lot of learning. 10-35. A lot of the wins though came a little later in the season. But what did you learn in that first year that you translated into year number 2?
I mean, the lessons are endless. I'm still going, obviously, but you don't realize it's every little detail of the operation. Like, it's amazing. Like, just how to recruit, how to make connections for players, how to operate and sell product, how you're going to cook it, even, sometimes you're in there and I'm the janitor too, never mind, the travel secretary, the busing, just how a whole organization operates, marketing, sitting here with you, things like that. They're all equally important, and you just kind of have to go through it for a year to kind of understand how to put it together for the next year. And we're such in a good spot now with everything, but the lessons never stop. That's for sure.
And and as we talk about evolution is really, really important. From yourself and everything all the way down the line, no doubt. I know the way you work. When you looked at the year and you look at your players going into year 2, what was that like? Did you have to sort of refocus? Were there some players that were lost, some that came back? How did that all kind of work
100%.
out?
Every year you're kind of starting from scratch a little bit in your recruiting, because it's, there are no contracts or anything. Anybody's free to go anywhere. But you want to build an organization where everybody has such a great experience. You hope they come back. So we did have a number of returning players. I think we have 8. But at the same time, you're also looking to find the best talent. And as you know, my focus is the Canadian players, and that's why we've put this league together, but not exclusively. We like good baseball players that will fit what we're trying to do here. So each and every year you build that a little better, and you build your connections, and you find your ways, connecting with college coaches and the elite programs in Canada here, and you just get access to more players. But it's a year-round process. There's no doubt about it.
What's your philosophy? And I think we hear this, especially we got an NHL draft that's happening, an NBA draft that just happened, and you're looking at players, and the big question is, do you go after what your team philosophy is like, or do you go off the best man available sort of mindset? And what's your mindset in terms of the players that you want on your team?
Obviously, you're looking for high-end talent, but I've always from day one wanted the quality person as well. I think when you're together as much as we are, we play 46 games in 60 days. So that tells you it's a pro schedule. You've got to find people that are going to get along and be a part of the program. So you do a lot of work there where you're finding out about what quality of a kid you're getting. You know what I mean? That's clearly they have to be able to play the game, but it matters. Your whole program can go sideways if you've got something just doesn't fit. So we do a lot of work on the quality of the person for sure. They're here. They could be here for one summer, but 2 months every day. It's important to me that the experience is a top shelf one, and you have to have the right group to do that. And we've been pretty fortunate for that. So
Great word you just used there, experience. And I think that's something, when I use that word, it has become so critical to every league except, in fact, no, I'll change that. The professional leagues, and we'll use the Blue Jays example, they wanted to improve the experience for fans, right? And with the development and the 3-stage development of Skydome, I keep calling it that, it's a much better ballpark, right? And we're seeing that everywhere, even at every level, even the Ticats. I mean,
that's right.
With the Porter end zone, I mean, they want experience. It's become that when you show up to a sporting event, it's more than just watching the sport. Now, I'm old school. You may follow the thing. I'm going to my seat and I'm watching the game. That's it. But others want to do other things as well, too, and about the food and different theme nights. Are you buying into that philosophy?
100%. I mean, and like I said, we were limited in doing that last year. But our experience at the ballpark, I think, is top notch. We hired an in-game host. Her name's Megan DeVicia from Hamilton. She comes down, and she's such a tremendous, energetic human being that gets everybody in the park going. Of course, our experience with the food and beverage too, the things we do on activations on the field. Every sport now, it's more. And baseball, baseball. You don't even have to watch the game sometimes. You can just come, you can have conversations. And yes, we've done a lot of theme nights already. And we've gotten the school kids in, and we focus on minor baseball. We gave away some bucket hats for Father's Day and things along those lines, because you have to do that to get that engagement, because sporting events are more than the sport. You have to entertain people for a few hours, and if they leave your park going, that was a fun night, they're more likely to come back, right?
Can we be fair too? I think baseball compared to hockey and football, probably might be the cheapest ticket because of the amount of games. But you know what? It's not attractive to make the trip down to Toronto nowadays from where we are right now. It's tough. It's a whole game plan, right? It's a whole game plan, and really takes up the whole day, even if you take the
and
go.
It's the cost is
you're
prohibitive.
Like, you guys have kind of positioned yourself in a good place that, what, why don't I stay in the area and watch a good ball game?
Well, and I think that's the things that's changed since I was a young man, and probably you as well. We could go to Toronto inexpensively and easier back in the day, and now so now people are focusing more on those local sports, and we're putting a product together. And yes, our tickets are exceptionally, reasonable, and everything around the park is reasonable. Our food and beverage is reasonable, because you want to keep that community there and give them an entertaining product. And they'll still go up to Toronto every now and then, but it's they don't go at the same level. So now they've got something in their community, and those local sports are really working these days. People are really digging into that, and we want to be just one of those events you get to go to and come on a summer night and sit back, and you could bring your family, and very reasonable, and watch high-end players play.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up the past, because I grew up on baseball, Blue Jays baseball at Exhibition Stadium. If you remember, the $2
that was me.
tickets.
I was in there.
$2, folks.
I'd show up 7 o'clock and it was hot, and by 9:30 I was freezing.
It's so
the wind off the lake.
The wind off the lake.
I never learned to bring any jackets either.
With a million seagulls.
Yes, I know. I was one of those guys with you. There's no question.
Well, hey, we talked about last year, 10-35, now 9-9. You're almost at your.
We won 6 of 7.
Right?
Bubba.
There you go. Yeah. So you're rolling right now, and you got a lot of home dates coming up. We've got a board here for people to kind of ingest and maybe take in some of those games, but a little bit on what's going on this year.
Yeah, I'll tell you, you're going to come down and see some fantastic players. We had a young man pitch for us our last game. He was with us just for the first half of the season. His name's Dylan Miles. He's a legit prospect coming through. He was touching 97 miles an hour, if you can believe it. But he was sitting.
How old?
He's 19 years old. So he was sitting 95. He goes to Lindenwood University. It's a D1. It was a special night to watch him throw. So he certainly word got around the league. But this is what what we're trying to bring that type of talent in. So he was exciting. And now we've got another young gentleman named Hank Vandermeer, also a Division I kid, 6'7". He's a two-way star. So in the days of more guys doing two-way things, you get to come down to Niagara and see this young man pitch and play first base. Carter Shin has returned. He was the first team all-star shortstop of the league last year.
Wow.
So he just came back from a broken wrist. So he's there. Connor Gatens is joining us. He's a catcher we had last year. High-end prospect. There are a lot of kids. Jordan Gallo leads the league in hitting right now from the Niagara Ironbacks. And Haas Fenwick, a teammate of his, that they were out of Mississauga. They're also obviously down in the U.S. in scholarships. They are taking the league by storm and helping us get to that 9-9 record. And we're in Geneva tonight in a doubleheader with the first place team we just beat yesterday.
Yes.
In Batavia tomorrow. But there's some high-end guys that you kind of come get to see playing for our team instead of just the other team last year.
I know.
So we've done a great job of making sure the home crowd
I say
is
congratulations
entertained.
on that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and I know you as a baseball guy that it wouldn't take long for you to pick up on what you wanted to do and how you wanted to form all of this. If I could ask, as we talk about, your manager knows everything about baseball, right?
And he'll tell you.
Yeah. Well, that's what you want, right?
Yeah,
that's right. That's the way he's got to operate.
The bus rides are tremendous.
Oh, I'm sure they are. So many
stories. Are great. We have a lot of fun.
Goodness,
we have a lot of fun.
Jesus, I'm sure the stories are great. And if I was one of those players, I'd just soak that up.
It is
right?
great.
What's his brand of baseball? Like how?
Well, he's very aggressive.
Okay.
He'll tell you that. He likes our team to put the other team on their heels.
Right.
So he's quite aggressive on the base paths and things like that. Well, obviously with the right the right players in the right spots. He likes to make things happen out there. So I would, he doesn't sit on his hands. Let's just say that. And I think it provides for an exciting brand. When you're there watching a game, something's going to happen. That's for sure. Right. And Griff's that type of guy. He likes the guys to be involved, thinking the game all the time. So
is he kind of that old? I mean, I guess it's changed now, but that old National League kind of guy. Like he wants to move guys.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he likes to get the defense thinking and the defense moving and just not comfortable.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think at this level of baseball, I can see the value in that. Just to make these young men think the game a little more, and the possibilities that exist. I mean, we can all go station to station and wait for the guy to hit the ball to the park, but sometimes you got to. There's other ways to play the game,
right.
And the old school game sometimes is a little more fun that way. You get guys moving, running, and you put the ball in play, and things can happen. So that's Griff.
I'm glad that I have you here to obviously talk about the Ironbacks and what they're doing and how they've improved over a year or two. But I got to ask you a little. I mean, people know your history as well, too. Quickly, just for people who are maybe learning a little bit about you, Mal, what you did in pro baseball as well, too. Just kind of explain to people.
Yeah, I was directed communications for the Blue Jays for 12 years, from 06 to 17. Went through the Batista, Eddie Encarnacion, and all those, fun revival, obviously, with Alex Anthopoulos and Cito Gaston, John Gibbons. Just an absolute treat for me to work with those guys. I work with them directly. So I think I learned more about baseball from Cito Gaston than I could ever imagine. And then working with John Gibbons is just one of the great thrills of a lifetime.
Right.
You just don't get better human beings. But yeah, I did all their communications. I traveled with them on road trips, through those years. So the benefit that I've got, what I do now, is understanding how a clubhouse works, because you get on the road and it's a tight group and it's just you guys on the road kind of battling as the underdog, and you really get tight and you learn how a clubhouse operates. You learn personalities and you learn what makes things tick. So it was fun. That experience was tremendous. So yeah, I've learned a lot in that role that I could take to running a team now. You know what you want.
I'm sure that you're kind of still, because of your, your dozen years there, that you still got some Blue Jay blood in you.
For sure. Yeah. I don't think it ever leaves, right?
39-42. They can never get over 500. 9.5 games out of first place already, and we've hit the midway point numbers-wise of the season.
Correct.
You're coming off maybe one of the more exciting Game 7s in World Series history.
Correct.
Where they could have been, in many different situations,
Probably should have won.
World Series champions.
Right.
What's with this team right now? I mean, first of all, they walked into it with all kinds of expectation as reigning American League champions. Yeah. But this isn't what I think people were expecting.
No, and I think it's not. I'm not going to say I expect them to be under 500, but it's not unexpected. A lot of guys had career years last year, right? So expecting the same level of performance is a lot to ask. I mean, you had a DH who's 36-year-old who had best year of his career, and a lot of young guys that really had their best years. So they're good players. It's just a lot to expect. Things went well. So you see what happens over the course of another baseball season. You don't get the same breaks. Guys get hurt. They've had a lot of injuries. The fortunate thing is they're still in the mix. With baseball in 2026, the playoffs are much easier to attain. So I think they're tied for the last wild card spot as we sit today. So there's a lot of time for them to turn it around. And the good news is they always have that advantage of pitching. I mean, I know Gausman hasn't been great of late, but I mean,
that's not lasting long.
Yes, he's going to be fine.
Yeah.
And so I think they'll be fine because their pitching is going to keep them in it. Mm-hmm. Clearly, their star first baseman needs to get it to going soon, and I mean, I'll be shocked if he didn't. I mean, he's an elite hitter. They get healthy, right?
Well, I'm glad you brought that. That's in its own category. 273 batting average, good.
Yeah.
353 on base percentage, leads the team.
Yeah.
4 home runs, none of them at home. What's happening?
It's impossible to believe that, isn't it? But I don't know. I mean, that's Vladdy. I mean, I think the 1 year of power, he was in the minor league parks. I think that matters. But I mean, he's a power guy, gap to gap doubles, and he hasn't really
doubles too.
He just is out of sync, and that's the beauty of baseball. It's just not that predictable. Year in and year out. That's what's great about it. You're trying to figure it out. Guys go through slumps. Some players unexpectedly have great years. You know what I mean? That's the beauty. If everybody just kind of trudged along and did what they normally do, wouldn't be as much fun.
But isn't this a little extended, though?
It's very extended. Yeah, I'm sure he's not having any fun. I know that.
No. And let me throw you this, because you talked about Batista. You talked about these big-time ball players that you spend a lot of time with. Is there any chance that this being the first year of the long country, the $500 million contract, that this may be weighing on him? Or do ball players even think that way?
It depends on your personality. Do I think it weighs on Vladdy? I don't. Mm-hmm. Some people do feel the expectations that are put on them. You know what I mean? Would I say like a Bo Bichette in New York? Yeah, I think he does feel it. But the personalities are different. Everything I know about Vladdy, I don't think he feels it at the same level. Mm-hmm. I just think he's going through it and putting pressure on himself to produce. And the funny part of baseball, it's especially offensively, you could get out of sync real quick, and it just, it's hard to get back. And then all of a sudden you lock it in, and, you can't get the guy out. So I expect that to be the case. We'll remember this conversation. He'll have a week or a 2-week period, and you're like, you can't get this guy out. He'll probably hit 6 home runs in 10 games or something like that. So, but that's what makes the game fun. Right? You tune in every day. Is this the day? There's always hope and optimism for the next. You play tomorrow, and that's the beauty of our game. You play tomorrow, so you turn the page, and that's what I love about baseball. It's there for you every day, Bubba.
I'm going to edit those little words, and I'm going to send them to Vladdy. Okay, that's what I'm going to do.
That's right.
Hey, in closing, I'm going to give you the opportunity, as I always say, here's your opportunity to sell the Ironbacks. Where you play, all you do, go ahead.
As you know, we're in St. Catharines, Ontario, called the Niagara Ironbacks, because obviously we want to represent the region. We play at George Taylor Field, where the Blue Jays used to have their single A team back in the 80s and 90s. So it's the same facility. We've upgraded that facility so much. There's, a lot of new things at the park. We're building a patio party deck in left field that'll be ready for the next season. So much exciting things going on. The Perfect Game League, a lot of players are in the major leagues and have been drafted, like I mentioned, 11 just last year, and I'm sure we'll have just as many this year. So the high-end guys you get to see are legit players, and like I said, now they're playing for the Niagara Ironbacks as we move forward. So you're going to come down there and see some really high-end talent, and we encourage everybody to come down. It's cheap, it's affordable, and you're going to see, future major leaguers in that ballpark. So coming out, and you can decide which ones you think are going to be the next ones. But they're definitely rolling through George Taylor Field in June and July every year.
Mal, appreciate your time. Good luck to you. Love seeing that 500 record. I know you guys, as you said, you're on a roll right now, so we'll be keeping an eye on you as well too. So appreciate your time. Thanks for coming by, and good luck for the rest of the season.
Thanks for having me, Bubba. It's my pleasure. And anytime you need anything, maybe we'll get Griff up here to tell some stories.
Say hi to him for me, please.
I will do that. Thank you.
All right. Hey, that's your Sportsline podcast for the day. And if you've just seen and heard, we love talking sports. We're talking baseball today. I'm all pumped up. If you do know of an athlete, team, or event to promote the Sportsline podcast, you want to hear from you, please hit that thumbs up, like, and subscribe button. If you have something to say, like I say, always want to hear your comments, folks. For the outstanding people that make the Sportsline podcast possible, thank you so very much. And we'll see you real soon.